Hello, my name is Kara Schul, and I am the Program Manager at Intentional Communities of Washtenaw. In this PowerPoint, I am going to focus on the role of the ICW Community Builder. The Community Builder is really a unique piece of ICW. It's really a key to how ICW is structured. So I'm going to take a minute here to focus on this. Okay, if you saw our other presentation about the relationships within ICW, I took this slide from the other presentation showing the network of relationships, and our ICW residents are in the center of all the relationships. ICW is a whole structure of relationships, with our ICW residents always in the center, always everyone's always mindful of the residents when really doing anything within ICW. But what I'm talking about now are the community builders. And as you can see from this graphic, the community builders are right there next to the residents, and they are really the heart of ICW. As program manager, I supervise the community builders. I work with them very closely, planning activities and things like that. And the families, of course, as you can see that arrow between the families and the community builders. Community builders send out email to families weekly and as a whole group. And then, of course, as needed, there's always communication between the community builders and the families. Regarding the residents, of course. So the community builders on this graphic are right in there next to the residents, and that is a really important role in ICW. So what is it that the community builders do? Well, the most important thing to think about as our community builders is that they are neighbors to our residents. Each community builder lives in his or her own private residence. That's a question that I have gotten before, is sometimes people will ask, well, do the community builders live in some sort of a group structure? No. With ICW, each resident has his or her own home. Each community builder lives in his or her own private residence. These are ICW residents for the community builders, which I will talk about in a slide later on, but it's a private residence. They have their own condo or they have their own apartment. Now they are in community near our residents, which is of course the ICW model. ICW is focused on creating that good old-fashioned neighborhood structure. That's really the key to the community builder, is that they're neighbors to our residents. They live nearby. Now, another important role is that they do rotate and on-call. So right now we have 4 community builders, and they each take a week on-call at a time. So they're available if needed in the evenings or on the weekends, and they rotate that. So it's about a week, 1 week per month for each of the community builders. So the next thing that I want to show you about the community builders is that they each facilitate his or her own small group. This is really, really key. This is where each small group has 1 community builder and 5 to 7 residents. The community builders manage and organize and run those Monday night dinners. They plan the schedule, they communicate the schedule, and then they also host and cook right along there with the residents. Each week, a different resident or community builder hosts the dinner, cooks for the rest of that small group. Now, some of our residents need help. They need some assistance, either from a family member, from a staff member, or from the community builder. But that's our goal, is to help out when needed in preparing that meal. And then that's hosted for the whole small group. Another thing that community builder does with his or her small group is to plan. What is it that group likes to do? Each group has members who speak out and they talk about what it is they enjoy, and then that group tries to cover the different interests within that group when they plan their weekly activities. And those are facilitated by the community builder. So really, really key to the community builder is that they are building relationships. The strongest relationships, of course, are with their small groups. These are the residents that our community builders are with more than once a week, several times a week. And these are the closest relationships. Community builders do one-on-one check-ins on a regular basis. This could be through text message, this could be through phone call, this could be in person, depending on what works best with each resident, but they do regular check-ins. They also do group conversations, group chats. Sometimes these are virtual or they're in person. This is something that we have really found recently to be a nice piece are the uses of technology. Some of our residents need help getting the technology set up. So again, either a family member, a staff member, or the community builder might go in there and help set up their phone, their tablet, their computer, help them practice how to join a group chat, a Zoom video chat, that sort of thing. And we have found that our residents are really loving this. And they are using their computers in brand new ways that they've never done before. So this has been a very nice thing that our community builders have been working on, is adding in a technology piece that will help bring everybody together even more. Our community builders work with their small groups, as I've outlined, but they also work together for those all ICW events. And I tell you that the residents from other groups know all the community builders as well, because they are involved in so many of these all ICW events. So the community builders work together with the residents, with the other community builders, with the program manager, with the board, and of course with the families to plan events for the whole group. There are some yearly overnight. The yearly overnight the past few years has been at the Howell Nature Center, which has been a camping trip, very, very much enjoyed by many of our residents and our community builders too. I have to tell you, they look forward to this one as well. We have other yearly events like going to see the Detroit Tigers, going to the zoo, different things like this that are, again, those really nice all ICW events that everybody enjoys. Our community builders work with me as the program manager to help co-facilitate the monthly all ICW activities. So they work with what we need to do to get those working as well for our residents. And then finally, but not least at all, is those monthly potluck dinners. If you've ever attended one of our potluck dinners, you know that there are, behind the scenes, I'll tell you, there are the community builders working very hard. They plan the potlucks, they choose the themes, they cook the main dish, they plan the invitations, they plan the activities. Those potluck dinners usually have an activity as well for the group, and that's all done by our community builders. So the next thing that I want to share with you is our community builder salary. How do they get paid? Well, it's not a traditional salary per se. Instead of a paycheck, they receive an in-kind payment of housing. So ICW owns condos that community builders live in, or rents apartments that the community builders live in. And ICW pays the association dues and that sort of thing associated with the housing. So the community builder gets paid in housing. Now, the question, of course, is funding for the community builders. The main way that these community builders are funded is through the Community Builder Family Pledges. ICW is a 501c3 nonprofit, so when we ask our community builder pledges, we ask our families, each ICW family, to make a $150 per month pledge of a donation to support the community builders. And that's the main funding for the program of the community builders within ICW. Now, another piece that our community builders need to have is a little bit of cash, a little bit of money. They each have an activity fund. And for example, there's one group that likes baking. So an activity that they do every once in a while is that they get together to check out some new recipes, bake some different foods. So the community builder needs a little bit of money. They have an activity fund to purchase those ingredients, for example. Another thing, if one small group wants to do a craft, for example, the community builder would spend some money to purchase those supplies. A game. A lot of our small groups enjoy different games, so the community builder might spend some money to purchase a game for that group to use. So how do those funds come about? Well, those are funded through the bottle drives. Thank you, those of you who've donated your cans of bottles. And also the donation box at those potluck dinners. So those of you who have put some cash in the donation box, thank you. And that's what that money goes for, is it goes for the activities that the community builders do with their small groups. So the last piece here, our summary page of this PowerPoint, is talking about the community builders. So they're the heart of ICW. The community builders live near our ICW residents. They support them as neighbors. They plan weekly social events. They get out in the community with our residents. They participate in the monthly and the yearly events. We have those beloved annual events that come through. They work with our potluck dinners. They are crucial in planning those potluck dinners. And of course, those Monday night dinners. Every Monday night, there are 4 dinners going on simultaneously. Each small group has a Monday night dinner going on, and that's all organized by the community builders. Now, one thing I do want to say is that our community builders also have other jobs. They have other employment during the day, but most of our residents are busy during the day. They're in day programs, they're out volunteering, they're out working. So when we have our ICW events, they are mostly in the evenings and on the weekends. And that model really works well with our goal, as I said earlier in this presentation, is to provide that good old-fashioned community. That good old-fashioned time when somebody's out in the neighborhood and you see your neighbor, you're out taking a walk, you might walk the neighborhood together, have a conversation with your neighbor. That's what our community builders are structuring for ICW. And every move that we make in ICW is always rooted in our mission statement. And it's here on this page as well. And our mission is to promote stable and sustainable quality of life for adults with developmental disabilities, designed to reduce isolation and develop skills to live interdependently in a community setting. And that's what our community builders really do. So I encourage you, if you have questions or comments, to please leave them in the comment or question section, and we will answer those for you. So thank you for listening in and finding out about what is it that ICW community builders really do. And they are the heart of ICW.